Have you ever imagined stepping into a world where ancient traditions and ways of life still shape every heartbeat of a community? In remote corners of Asia, there are villages so unique, their stories feel almost unbelievable. Take the Toraja of Indonesia, where families keep their deceased loved ones in their homes, treating them as part of daily life until elaborate funerals honor their spirit. Or the Kalinga of the Philippines, where skin becomes a living canvas, etched with bold, tribal tattoos passed down for centuries as a mark of identity and bravery. Then there are the incredible Bajau Sea nomads, also in the Philippines, who have adapted to life in the ocean so profoundly that their bodies have physically evolved to allow them to dive and swim longer than most humans ever could. These villages are not just relics of the past, they are living, breathing testaments to humanity's diversity, resilience, and deep connection to nature. Today, we're uncovering the unseen stories of Asia's most extraordinary tribes. Toraja, Indonesia. High in the misty mountains of Sulawesi lies the land of the Toraja, a people whose traditions and landscapes seem to belong to another world. The geography itself is dramatic. Steep valleys carved by rivers, emerald rice terraces clinging to slopes, and limestone cliffs punctuated with caves that double as resting places for the departed. Here, architecture mirrors belief. Houses called tongkonan rise on wooden stilts with sweeping saddleback roofs, shaped like water buffalo horns, a sacred animal woven into Toraj culture. The orientation of each home is symbolic, always facing north, toward the realm of their ancestors. What truly sets the Toraja apart are their rituals surrounding death. Passing from life is not seen as an abrupt ending, but a gradual journey. The deceased are often kept within the family home for months or even years, lovingly cared for until elaborate funerals can be arranged. These ceremonies last for days, filled with music, feasting, and the sacrifice of water buffalo, whose spirits are believed to guide souls into the afterlife. Cliffside graves hold carved wooden effigies called Tao Tao, gazing out over valleys as guardians of memory. Festivals blend reverence with celebration, where entire communities gather in vibrant processions. For visitors, the experience is both humbling and awe-inspiring. A culture where architecture, landscape, and ritual weave seamlessly into a world view that sees life and death not as opposites, but as parts of the same cosmic cycle. Chin, Myanmar. High in the rugged mountains of western Myanmar, the Chin people have built villages that seem suspended between earth and sky. Perched on ridges thousands of feet above sea level, their homes reflect the challenges of steep terrain and heavy rains. Stilt houses made of bamboo and timber rise from the slopes with sharply angled roofs that shed monsoon water with ease. Geography has preserved their isolation for centuries, allowing traditions to remain remarkably intact. Among their most unique customs is facial tattooing, once practiced mainly by women. Using soot and thorns, intricate patterns of dots, lines, and nets were inked permanently into skin. Each design carried meaning, often identifying clan or village, while some say the practice began to deter outsiders from taking local women away. Though this tradition is fading today, it remains a powerful visual marker of heritage and resilience. Cultural life among the Chin is deeply tied to the land. Music, bamboo dances, and oral storytelling sustain community bonds, while terraced fields carved into mountainsides reveal generations of adaptation to a difficult landscape. To stand in a Chin village is to witness the fusion of geography, architecture, and culture into a way of life that feels both timeless and profoundly human. Kalinga, Philippines. In the northern highlands of the Philippines lies the remote homeland of the Kalinga people, where steep mountains and winding rivers have shaped both geography and culture. Villages cling to ridges carved by centuries of terraced farming, a striking balance between human ingenuity and rugged terrain. Among their most distinctive traditions is tattooing, known as batok. Using thorns and soot, intricate geometric patterns are tapped into the skin, once symbolizing bravery in battle or success in community life. These tattoos transform the body into a living archive of history and identity. Festivals bring the villagers to life with rhythmic gong music, circle dances, and rituals that honor ancestors and the cycles of rice cultivation. Such gatherings reinforce unity and the continuity of tradition, even as modern influences approach the mountains. The Kalinga way of life reveals how geography, artistry, and ritual intertwine, creating a cultural landscape as enduring as the stone terraces that rise from their valleys. Mentawai, Indonesia. Far beyond the bustling cities of Indonesia, deep in the emerald jungles of Siberut Island, lies one of Asia's most extraordinary indigenous communities, the Mentawai people. For centuries, this tribe has lived in harmony with the dense rainforests and winding rivers of the Mentawai Islands, located off the western coast of Sumatra. Isolated by geography and protected by the rugged terrain of swamps, mangroves, and thick jungle, the Mentawai developed a way of life that remains remarkably intact, offering a window into an ancient cultural landscape. One of the most striking traditions of the Mentawai is their art of tattooing. Using sharpened sticks and natural pigments, they inscribe elaborate designs across their skin, believed to connect the body with the spirit world. These tattoos are not simply decoration. They serve as a map of identity, family heritage, and spiritual balance. Another unique practice is the filing of teeth into sharp points, a symbol of beauty and strength that marks maturity and resilience. Mentawai houses, known as uma, are large wooden longhouses built on stilts, where extended families live together under one roof. Community life revolves around animist beliefs in which every tree, river, and animal possesses a soul. Shamans play a vital role as spiritual guides, performing rituals to maintain harmony between humans and nature. Their knowledge of medicinal plants, drawn from the rainforest's immense biodiversity, has sustained the tribe for generations. Despite outside influences, the Mentawai continue to preserve their traditions while facing the challenges of modernization. Their culture, tied intimately to the geography of their homeland, reminds us of the deep connections between people, land, and spirit, a living testimony to humanity's resilience and creativity in shaping life on the edge of the world. Kachin, Myanmar. High in the mountainous north of Myanmar, along the rugged frontier with China and India, live the Kachin people, one of Asia's most fascinating highland tribes. Their homeland is a land of dramatic contrasts, where snow-capped peaks give way to fertile valleys fed by powerful rivers, including the source of the Irrawaddy. This geography has long shaped Kachin life, providing both protection and a deep connection to the land they call sacred. The Kachin trace their roots through centuries of migration and oral history, preserving a cultural identity that blends animist traditions with later Christian influences. Central to their heritage is the Manao Festival, a spectacular event held to celebrate unity, harvests, and ancestral spirits. Towering Manao poles, painted with intricate patterns, rise at the heart of the festival ground, while dancers dressed in colorful woven attire and silver ornaments move in great spirals, embodying harmony between heaven, earth, and community. Kachin society is also known for its intricate clan system, strong emphasis on kinship, and rituals that honor the natural world. Music, gongs, and drums guide their ceremonies, while textiles woven in bold patterns tell stories of lineage and land. Though modern pressures threaten to reshape their way of life, the Kachin remain guardians of a cultural legacy deeply tied to geography, history, and spirit, reminding us of the resilience of identity in the face of change. Baju Sea Nomads, Philippines. Off the coasts of the southern Philippines lives a people often called the sea nomads, the Baju. For centuries, they have built their homes not on land, but above water, in stilted villages, or on boats that drift across coral-rich seas. Geography is destiny for the Baju. Turquoise shallows and deep channels provide food, shelter, and the rhythms of daily life. What makes the Baju extraordinary is not just their seafaring culture, but their biology. Scientists have discovered that Baju divers possess larger spleens, up to 50% bigger than average, which allows them to store more oxygen-rich red blood cells. This adaptation, honed through generations of free diving, lets them descend more than 200 feet and remain underwater for minutes at a time without modern gear. In effect, human evolution has shaped them to live as fish people. Survival at sea has also forged unique skills. Children learn to swim before they can walk, and they often see underwater as clearly as on land, thanks to a rare ability to constrict their pupils. Their diet, built on speared fish, octopus, and shellfish, reflects both resilience and balance with fragile marine ecosystems. Yet modern pressures, overfishing, migration, and displacement threaten this harmony. The Bajau remind us that humanity is not separate from the ocean, but can, through time and necessity, evolve with it, an intimate bond between culture, survival, and science. Igorot, Philippines. In the misty highlands of northern Luzon, the Igorot people have lived for thousands of years, shaping both land and culture in ways that astonish even today. Their most iconic legacy is the rice terraces, carved by Samund into mountainsides over 2 millennia ago. Often called the eighth wonder of the world, these terraces turn steep valleys into living stairways of green, a harmony of engineering and survival. The Igorot way of life is deeply tied to rituals and festivals. Agricultural cycles are marked with dances, gong music, and offerings to ancestral spirits, ensuring balance between humans and nature. The Kanyao festival, for example, gathers entire villages in celebration, where feasting and rhythmic chants honor both harvest and heritage. Through geography, tradition, and communal spirit, the Igorot stand as guardians of a culture that continues to thrive, where every field, song, and ceremony speaks of resilience and reverence for the earth. Dani, Indonesia. High in the remote Baliem Valley of Papua, Indonesia, the Dani people have built a way of life shaped by rugged mountains and fertile volcanic soil. Their homes, called honai, are small round huts with thick thatched roofs, ingeniously designed to trap warmth in the valley's cool highland nights. For centuries, the Dani have cultivated sweet potatoes as their main crop, forming the backbone of both daily meals and grand communal feasts. What makes their culture remarkable are the rituals that intertwine life, loss, and survival. In the past, women expressed mourning through a striking tradition of finger cutting, a physical symbol of grief. Today, their heritage is celebrated through vibrant gatherings such as the Balium Valley Festival, where tribes showcase mock battles, once tools of conflict, now living theater of history and pride. The Dani embody how human ingenuity, ritual, and resilience allow communities to flourish in one of the most secluded corners of our planet. Naga, Myanmar. High in the remote hills along the Myanmar frontier live the Naga tribes, a people whose culture is as rugged and striking as the landscape they call home. Surrounded by steep ridges, misty forests, and valleys cut by rivers, the Naga developed a way of life rooted in both survival and symbolism. Their traditional houses, raised on stilts and roofed with palm or thatch, are adorned with wooden carvings and animal motifs, each design carrying spiritual meaning and clan identity. The Naga are renowned for their once-feared warrior traditions, remembered today in ceremonial dances and vibrant attire, decorated with beads, shells, and animal horns. Their festivals transform entire villages into theaters of sound and color. The most famous, held every winter, brings together thousands of villagers to perform dances, chant war songs, and honor the spirits of ancestors. For visitors, witnessing these rituals offers a rare glimpse into a community where geography, architecture, and cultural pride merge into one of Asia's most remarkable tribal legacies. Ifugao, Philippines. In the northern highlands of the Philippines, the Ifugao people carved living masterpieces into the mountainsides, rice terraces that have stood for over 2,000 years. Rising like giant stairways to the clouds, these terraces climb steep slopes for thousands of feet, sustained by a sophisticated irrigation system that channels water from forest springs across an intricate network of stone and mud walls. This ancient engineering, achieved without modern tools, demonstrates a remarkable understanding of both geology and hydrology. For the Ifugao, rice is more than food, it is sacred. Farming follows rituals guided by ancestral beliefs, where every planting and harvest is marked by songs, offerings, and community feasts. These traditions are not simply cultural practices, but survival strategies, ensuring harmony between people and their environment. Visitors who trek through the emerald green terraces witness not only breathtaking scenery, but also a living connection between human ingenuity, landscape, and spirituality, an enduring testament to how culture and ecology can evolve hand in hand. Deep within the remote rainforests of southeastern Papua lives one of the world's most fascinating and little-known tribes, the Korowai of Indonesia. Surrounded by dense jungle, winding rivers, and swamps that remain nearly inaccessible to outsiders, the Korowai have developed a way of life that seems to belong to another time. What makes them especially remarkable is their architectural genius, towering tree houses built as high as 100 feet above the ground. These houses are not whimsical creations, but carefully engineered survival structures. Constructed atop giant banyan or ironwood trees, the elevated homes keep families safe from floods, biting insects, and once rival clans. Reached by slender, notched logs that serve as ladders, the tree houses sway gently with the wind, giving an almost surreal view of the canopy. From above, Korowai families can watch the forest come alive, the cries of hornbills, the rustle of palm leaves, and the glittering river below. The Korowai landscape is equally dramatic. Their homeland is a patchwork of lowland rainforest, swampy valleys, and mountains that rise in rugged folds. Heavy rainfall nourishes the soil and sustains an extraordinary biodiversity, but it also isolates the villages, leaving the Korowai largely dependent on their intimate knowledge of the jungle. They are skilled hunters and gatherers, drawing sustenance from sago palms, wild pigs, cassowaries, and river fish. Culture here is deeply tied to both land and sky. Oral traditions, passed down around firelit gatherings, explain the origins of the forest, spirits, and ancestors who guide daily life. For generations, the tribe remained untouched by outside influence, and many Korowai still maintain their spiritual beliefs rooted in animism. Rituals mark life's milestones. Birth, marriage, death, and even the construction of a new treehouse can carry ceremonial meaning. In recent decades, some Korowai have begun to interact with the outside world, with a few families moving closer to mission settlements or small towns. Yet many still cling proudly to their ancient way of life. To trek into Korowai territory is to step into a living anthropology museum, where human resilience, architecture, and cultural traditions intertwine in one of Earth's last great wildernesses. Amid the misty mountains and fertile valleys of Myanmar, the Karen people have crafted a way of life shaped by geography and tradition. Their villages are built on stilts of bamboo and teak, raised several feet above the ground to resist flooding, invite breezes, and keep livestock safe below. The architecture is both practical science and cultural identity, reflecting centuries of adaptation to the rugged terrain. Surrounding fields are carefully cultivated with rice, vegetables, and herbs, while shifting agriculture on the slopes ensures survival in places where flat farmland is rare. History and culture flow through daily life. Women are renowned weavers, their textiles woven with natural dyes carrying geometric motifs that speak of lineage and community ties. Spiritual practices intertwine with rituals of the land, honoring both ancestral spirits and the natural world. Elephants hold a special role here, not only as working companions in forests, but also as cultural symbols of strength and harmony with nature. Everyday rhythms, children helping in fields, elders passing down stories, and music rising during seasonal festivals reveal a society where science, ecology, and tradition meet. For travelers, stepping into a Karen village is to witness resilience expressed through architecture, agriculture, and coexistence with elephants, an enduring relationship between people and the wild landscapes they call home. High in the remote mountains and deep forests of the Philippines live the Aita, one of the country's oldest indigenous peoples. Anthropologists believe their ancestors were among the very first to settle these islands, arriving tens of thousands of years ago. Their villages are small clusters of bamboo and thatch homes, blending seamlessly into the wilderness. The Aita are renowned for their deep knowledge of the forest. Every plant, root, and tree has a purpose, whether for medicine, food, or building. Daily life is simple yet resilient. Families gather around open fires. Children learn to track animals by subtle footprints, and hunters still craft bows and arrows with precision passed down through countless generations. Despite centuries of change around them, the Aita hold fast to traditions that remind us of humanity's oldest connection, living in harmony with nature. Tucked away in the lush hills of Western Java lies the world of the Bedouin people, a community that seems untouched by the rush of modern life. Divided into two groups, Inner Badui and Outer Badui, they live by a strict code of harmony with nature. The Inner Badui villages forbid electricity, vehicles, even metal tools, preserving a way of life that echoes centuries of tradition. Their bamboo stilt houses, built without nails, aligned perfectly with the flow of the land, while footpaths connect small clusters of homes hidden among terraced hills and dense forests. Daily rhythms are guided by the cycles of the earth. Men weave rattan and trek barefoot through mountains for trade, while women spin cotton and dye fabrics with indigo from local plants. Marriage, farming, and even travel follow sacred rules that sustain balance between humans and the unseen world. For the Badui, simplicity is not a lack, but a strength, a profound reminder that entire communities can thrive without breaking their bond to the land. In the mist-covered mountains of southern Shan State, Myanmar, the Pa'o people live in villages rising more than 3,000 feet above sea level. Known as skilled farmers, they dedicate much of their land to tea, carefully planting, hand-picking, and drying the leaves using techniques passed down for centuries. Tea is not only an economic lifeline, but also a cultural symbol woven into daily meals and rituals. Yet it is their vibrant festivals that reveal the Pa'o spirit most vividly. During grand celebrations, villagers fill the streets in colorful parades, their traditional indigo and crimson garments moving like a living tapestry. Dance rituals, accompanied by drums and bamboo instruments, transform entire roads into open-air stages, where old legends are retold through rhythm and movement. These processions, blending agriculture, spirituality, and art, connect the Pa'o to both ancestors and the natural world. To witness such harmony between land, labor, and celebration is to glimpse a rare cultural heartbeat of Southeast Asia. In the far reaches of the Philippines, on the wild and breathtaking island of Palawan, lives one of Southeast Asia's most intriguing indigenous groups, the Palauan people. Tucked between dramatic limestone cliffs, lush jungles, and hidden river valleys, their villages stand as a living testament to humanity's resilience and adaptability in one of the world's most biodiverse landscapes. For centuries, many Palawan families called caves their home. These natural shelters were not just practical dwellings, but also spiritual sanctuaries, linking them to ancestors who had carved stories, rituals, and survival knowledge deep into the stone walls. Archaeologists studying Palawan's Tabon caves have uncovered artifacts dating back tens of thousands of years, suggesting that this land has been a cradle of human life far longer than many might imagine. Music is central to Palawan identity. Bamboo zithers, flutes, and mouth harps craft delicate melodies that drift across valleys, echoing nature's own rhythms. Songs often serve as oral records of history and lore, teaching younger generations about ancestors, spirits, and the ethics of living in balance with their environment. Even daily routines are infused with music, whether through chants during farming or lullabies by fireside. The Palawan way of life is intimately tied to their geography. They practice shifting cultivation, planting rice, root crops, and fruit in small clearings before moving on to let the forest heal. Hunting and gathering continue to supplement their diet, reflecting an ecological knowledge passed carefully through generations. Caves, forests, and rivers are not merely resources but living partners in their existence. To witness the Palawan is to enter a world where stone shelters, haunting music, and deep respect for nature create a harmony that feels both ancient and timeless. In the remote swamps and river valleys of West Papua, the Asmat people have forged a way of life that blends survival with artistry. Geography has shaped everything. Dense mangroves and winding waterways mean canoes are as essential as homes, and hunting remains central to daily life, with men skillfully using bows, spears, and traps to provide for their families. Yet what sets the Asmat apart is their extraordinary wood-carving tradition, often called a living museum of myth and memory. Massive ancestor poles, shields, and canoes are carved from a single tree, sometimes stretching more than 12 feet tall, each stroke guided by rituals linking the living to the spirit world. For the Asmat, carving is not just craft, but communication, an eternal dialogue with ancestors, nature, and the powerful forces that govern their rugged homeland. High in the mountains and along the river valleys of Mindoro Island live the Mangyan, one of the most fascinating indigenous groups of the Philippines. Their geography, isolated by steep terrain and thick forests, has preserved a way of life that feels timeless. What sets the Mangyan apart is their ancient writing system, etched not on paper, but into bamboo. Using sharp knives, they carve syllabic scripts known as Surat Mangyan onto smooth bamboo tubes, recording poetry, love songs, and even personal messages. This tradition, believed to be centuries old, is among the few pre-colonial writing systems in Southeast Asia that survive today. Beyond writing, Mangyan culture thrives in simplicity and harmony with nature. Homes built from bamboo and palm leaves, farming rooted in shifting cultivation, and oral storytelling passed down under starlit skies. For the Mangyan, bamboo is not just a resource, it is both canvas and chronicle, preserving identity against the tide of time. In the lush river deltas and fertile plains of southern Myanmar live the Mon people, one of Southeast Asia's oldest civilizations. Their history stretches back more than 1,000 years, credited with introducing Theravada Buddhism to the region and building some of the earliest temples along the Irrawaddy. Geography has shaped their culture. The Mon thrive in fertile lowlands where rice cultivation is both livelihood and heritage, with terraced paddies glistening like mirrors during the rainy season. Equally remarkable is their weaving tradition. Women use hand looms to produce intricate textiles dyed in deep reds and indigos, patterns passed down through countless generations. Every woven thread tells a story of resilience, faith, and artistry. The Mon's villages, with stilted wooden houses and vibrant markets, are living museums of Southeast Asian history, where rice, cloth, and spiritual devotion are woven seamlessly into daily life. Hidden deep within the Calamian Islands of northern Palawan lives one of the most fascinating, yet little-known, indigenous groups of Southeast Asia. The Tagbanwa people. Believed to be among the oldest ethnic groups in the Philippines, the Tagbanwa trace their ancestry back thousands of years, carrying traditions that predate written history. Their homeland is a realm of limestone cliffs, mangrove forests, and crystal waters, a geography that has shaped both their way of life and their spiritual worldview. The Tagbanwa developed one of the few ancient writing systems of the Philippines, still preserved in bamboo carvings, and they practice rituals that connect them to the spirits of sea, forest, and ancestors. They are expert fishers and foragers, guided by ecological knowledge passed down through generations. Even today, their sacred dances, rice wine rituals, and deep respect for nature stand as living links to a past that modern science and history are only beginning to fully appreciate. High in the rolling mountains of South Cotabato, on the island of Mindanao, lives the Taboli people, one of the most visually striking and culturally rich tribes of Southeast Asia. Known as the Dream Weavers, the Taboli women create the famous Tanalak cloth, a sacred fabric made from abaca fibers. What makes it extraordinary is that the patterns are said to come to weavers in their dreams, believed to be gifts from the spirit of abaca itself. Each thread, dyed with natural pigments, becomes a vivid tapestry of red, black, and white, symbolizing life, earth, and purity. The Taboli are also renowned for their dazzling attire, layered beadwork, brass ornaments, and feathered headdresses that turn every festival into a spectacle of color and sound. Their grand celebration, the Tanalak Festival, is held every July, filled with music, gongs, and ritual dances that honor both ancestors and nature. For anthropologists and travelers alike, the Taboli stand as living proof of how art, spirituality, and geography can intertwine into one breathtaking cultural identity. On the vast waters of Inle Lake in central Myanmar lives the Intha people, masters of a way of life found nowhere else on Earth. Known as the leg rowers, they balance on one foot at the stern of their slender boats while wrapping the other leg around the oar, a technique that allows them to see above floating reeds and maneuver with precision. For centuries, the Intha have built entire villages on stilts with floating gardens anchored by bamboo and lake weeds, producing tomatoes and vegetables that feed thousands. Their water world is not just geography, it is history, ingenuity, and resilience woven into daily life.